Hi, this is Debbie from Organic Oasis in California Zone 9B. But I wanted to show you the different types of peas and what I like about them or what is sort of a fail. Every year I plant different peas. So I have notes here because I'm learning about my peas too. I'm not always planting the same peas. So I don't always know all the details of every pea I plant. So for reference, I am using this. So here you will see these peas here are called Pea Cascadras. And this is the first year I planted these. I was drawn to these because they're a shorter pea. They only grow 30 to 36 inches tall. So this is as tall as they get. So as you can see, the only trellis I'm using is just a short little, I think this is like a 3-foot trellis, 3 or 4 foot trellis. And the plants stay nice and compact. I've got them in 7-gallon grow bags. We have all of our entire vegetable garden are in grow bags, but our peas are all in little either 5 or 7-gallon grow bags. Because we do an entire row, so that I can keep track of what I'm growing, I put tags on them. And we do have a drip irrigation set up. And so each plant is getting water. So there are these little sprinklers. They're adjustable for just a little bit of water. You can twist it or a lot of water. The peas, they're snap peas, snap shelling peas. And what this is different than, so if you are used to just the shelling peas that I remember, I was born in '58, the shelling peas, that's all we had. As far as peas, that's the only pea that I knew. My mom used to buy the frozen peas and she used to, heat them, cook them, and we would eat them with butter and salt. And they were the shelling peas. And I never actually saw a pea growing like this until I was an adult and I was growing them myself, which is kind of funny. But so the shelling pea is is a traditional English pea that a lot of people around the country, the U.S. especially, know about. And you buy the frozen peas and things like that. This is a hybrid. It's a snap shelling pea. So what now we can get is these peas that are typically a shelling pea. You could shell them, but they've made them now where the actual pod is chewable. It's edible. So whereas the English peas or the true shelling peas, you can't eat the pod. You have to open them up and take the peas out. These, they've made them actually softer, so you can eat them. Not quite as soft as a snow pea, but they're edible pods. So they're very, very sweet, the Pea Cascadra, and they're ready in about 60 to 70 days. And one of the best things about them is they have bred into these, are disease resistant for the powdery mildew and a mosaic virus that will attack peas. So I planted these, and as you see as we go down the row, these ones are going to burn out quicker than the actual taller snap peas that we're used to growing. These actually will burn out quicker. They're not because I don't know why, they're a dwarf pea and they're fast growing, but they're also fast to end their life cycle. So I wanted these because I thought they would come in quick, we'd get peas, and then as I'm getting rid of these, my traditional vine peas will continue to produce. So we'll see if that's the truth. We're going to move on. Here's a close-up look of, again, this Cascadra pea. This one is a bigger one. So you could actually crack it open, eat the peas out of the inside, or just eat the entire pod. So next you're going to see this pea. These peas here are called the Oregon Sugar Pod 2s. And as you can see, compared to the Cascadra is taller. These are a little bit shorter. They're 28-inch vines, and they're also disease resistant, but these are a sugar pea. So let me pull one off and show you. So here we go. It's a sugar snap. Again, you can see the peas inside. These are they grow a little bigger than the Cascadras. And again, you can pull the strings off and eat these. They're delicious too. I think between the two of these, I prefer this one. Even if you look at this plant, the Cascadra, the leaves are really cool looking. The plant looks healthier. These ones, they just didn't do as good. They're weaker. They have beautiful peas on them. But the plant itself, at least in Northern California, Zone 9B, like these are loaded, the plant doesn't look as healthy. I think this plant is going to end its life sooner than the Cascadra. So I would probably plant the Cascadra again over this Oregon, it's called an Oregon Sugar P2, number 2. Next, we have the sugar snap peas. And as you can see, these are the true sugar snap vining peas. They're way taller than me. They're up higher than our fence. And it's a healthy plant. As you can see, it's very healthy, loaded with peas. And it took longer for these to grow than the Cascadra or the Oregon number 2s. So these will last longer. Again, they're loaded. Let me show you what these look like. So again, this is a snap pea, edible pod, but it is a little thicker. And some people, they just don't like these thicker pods. But like I said, it's not the same as an actual shell pea. These pods are edible, nice and crunchy, but they are thicker. But as you can see, these plants are doing fantastic and producing way more than the smaller Cascadra or Oregon 2. Those ones that I just showed you are great though for a small backyard. You just want to have they're almost like a bush pea. I would consider them a bush pea and perfect for a small suburban backyard. These vining peas, you definitely need a trellis and you need space for them. So next here we have our Snowbird peas. Now my husband loves snow peas and we love using them in stir fries. We actually use all of these peas in stir fries, but our snow peas we especially like in the stir fry. And I think they're my husband's Tomato Tim's favorite pea. But this year I wanted to try a dwarf variety, and this is a true dwarf Snowbird. They only grow 18 inches tall. They grow super fast. And we've had them just loaded with peas. I've been picking them every day. Here is an example of one of them. I got a couple here. It's still really producing. The peas look like this. They're very sweet, very delicious. There's this one. This one's curled a little bit. Some of them have been on the pod way too long. I mean, on the tree too long. I've got so many, I can barely keep up with them. But this is a great, absolutely fantastic pea to grow in a little home garden in just a small grow bag. And I would consider this a true patio pea, or just a small pea that you could grow anywhere really, even on a balcony. As you could see, this is on the same trellis as the snap peas here, but these didn't really need to be trellised. I could have even put these in a small tomato cage. A small tomato cage would have been perfect for these. So yeah, basically a wonderful little dwarf pea. I'm not sure I'll grow these again. I do like the idea if you're staggering growing, you could grow these quick, get a harvest, and then really rely on the vining pea if you have the room. So I'm here at the end of my pea row, and again, I have a few more Pea Cascadras. As you can see, this is just a beautiful plant. I really, really like this. I think I would plant this again. It's just a really nice pea. It has really big pods, giant pods, healthy pods. You can eat them. You could shell them if you wanted. The peas inside are big enough to make it worth it. You can eat them plain. You can put them in stir fry. They're just a great pea. The other thing I like about this plant is the leaves are just so beautiful. They're like kind of a variegated color, light green, dark green. It's just a beautiful plant. It looks really healthy. So they've been growing a while, but they've just now really taken off and they're producing. Now we're getting some hot weather. We'll get a few weeks, maybe another month of production, and then they'll start to really slow down as we get the hotter days. Somewhere probably the end of June or July, I'll probably just pull them all out and I'll move into planting beans or cucumbers in this row. But for now, it's well worth it. And we have, remember, if you grow your peas, and even if you get a month of a lot of production, you can freeze them. You can preserve them, and then you can enjoy them all year. So they're very much worth growing. So this is Tomato Tim in my pea row, and I've taken you through all the peas that we're growing this year and the harvest that we're getting and how happy we are with this. However, if you have a very small backyard, a patio, you live in a condominium, a townhome, you can still grow peas. All you need is a 5 or 7 gallon grow bag, which you can buy on Amazon, $1 or $2. I'll link the ones that I purchase. You can buy your seeds, and you would go with a dwarf variety or a bush pea, and you might just need a small tomato cage or just a tiny decorative. If you have a small decorative little, you know, like a trellis, it doesn't have to be tall, but just something small to wrap the peas around or to clip the peas to. And that's it. As far as the dirt, everything Tomato Tim just did a video, and I'll link to that, on all the things you could buy at Costco for relatively inexpensive. You can get your dirt, some worm compost, and some fertilizer. And then basically you plant your peas, you put a little mulch like shredded leaves on top to keep the moisture in, and that's it. If you're interested in setting up a drip irrigation at Home Depot at Home Depot or Lowe's, you can purchase, or even online, what they call, it's just more of a patio or a container plant irrigation system. And it's just something that screws right onto your hose, right onto your faucet. And then you can just put that, like the little dripper, into your bag, get one little timer that's relatively inexpensive. You could probably get them for $15, and you can set up your watering to water your little patio plants. It's relatively easy, and if you add up that cost and you subtract all the produce you won't have to buy at the grocery store, so that means you're not buying your peas, or you're not going to the farmer's market and buying your peas. You could probably get, off of a few peas, you could end up getting enough peas to freeze in your freezer. You can also pickle them. You can eat them as snacks. You can stir fry with them. But if you want to store them for the future months, you can go ahead and freeze them. And that actually saves a lot of your grocery money from buying things and, frozen vegetables. Like I said, when these peas come out, I'll be putting in cucumbers and beans. And I will also show you some of the varieties of those, because you can also get the small dwarf and bush style that's perfect for a home patio and a suburban backyard. Thank you so much for following Tim and I. We appreciate your support. We would love to get comments of how you grow. If you grow in a farm, you have acreage, you grow in a small patio. We would love to hear all about the way that you grow, and how do you use your things that you harvest. Do you eat them fresh? Do you can them? What do you do with them? Like, we'd love to find out. Thank you for joining our community, and we will see you later.